previously with a victory against Portsmouth in week 1 of the regular season. And Portsmouth coming in 2-2 with a win against both the London Hornets as well as the Oxford Saints, and losses on the schedule to the Rushmoor Knights we mentioned, and last week losing a game 37-21 to the second place Wembley Stallions. So it should be a nice, interesting game for us today. And with me today is Kwame. Kwame, say hi to the people, let them know what you're about.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm sure some of you may recognise my voice.
It should be a good game today. Seeing the coin toss, and Portsmouth will be receiving to the right-hand side of your screen. We've got some great referees out there today who are helping to make this game possible, of course. The referee is Darren Urban, and he has a 4-man crew. His umpire is Dan Cass. He's got a headlinesman, Steve Chur, and the line judge is Roger Brown. So thank you to them for obviously helping us make this game go ahead. And it should be an exciting game. What are you looking for in this game today, Kwame?
I'm looking for a close, entertaining battle, to be honest. I mean, we saw last time these two teams matched up. We saw Rushmoor comfortably come out ahead on top of that one. So obviously this being a return fixture, hopefully Portsmouth have done their film, they've done their review, and they've got home field advantage this time. So we'll look to see if they've got a trick or two up their sleeve and see if they can bring something out to this fight today.
Yeah, interesting scheduling. Portsmouth have their first home game. They've played everybody away from home, and now they're going to play everybody at home. So that might help sort of spark their season sort of coming on the comeback. Just on the sort of fringes of playoff contention, that Div 1 playoff tree is looking very competitive right now.
Definitely looking at it, and from a Portsmouth perspective, considering they've had all their away games, they're going to be looking at the home games thinking, now we've got all these home games, now we've got the advantage, now's our chance to really get some wins together. So it's a good opportunity for them.
Indeed it is, indeed it is. And just to let you know, if you're experiencing any potential glitches or lags on the live stream, we obviously apologise in advance. The streaming quality in a field, hit and miss sometimes, but hopefully you'll be able to see all of the glorious action, and we'll be here to tell you what's going on in case you miss any of it. And we get ready for the kickoff now as Rushmoor kick off. Short kick, bobbles around, picked up at about the 15, and it's taken down to the right-hand side, finds a little gap, but he's tackled there out of bounds at about the 22-yard line. So Portsmouth comfortably in their own half as they lead out for this possession, and their offence is coming out to the field, being led by the quarterback, Jaden Ellis, who had a bit of a rocky start in game 1 of the season, but hoping that, going back, doing a bit of film review, a bit of practice, they'll be in a better position to be competitive today. That Rushmoor defence coming out has shown some vulnerabilities in previous games, has some potential tackling issues and some interesting play on the back end, but they'll be looking to play stronger and seal this game for them today. And an initial snap is fumbled, but it's recovered by number 3 in the backfield as he tries to get a couple of yards, but he doesn't, down to 21. He's looking a little bit nervous already out there.
Yeah, a couple of interesting plays already so far. I mean, that return, you'd have hoped to get a few more yards, as it wasn't the best kick at the end of the day, but got him around about to standard position, field position. But this first play, nerves coming out, maybe a dodgy snap, maybe a couple of nerves from the quarterback. Just need to get these snaps under control before they start marching down the field.
So they come out with trips to the left. QB drops back, looks to roll out, looking to the left to see if there's a receiver open. He finds a receiver open, and that is complete by number 88. A good gain of about 8 yards or so. Still looking at third and medium, but nice little play on second down to get them back on schedule.
Yeah, it's a good little route from Penn, number 88 there, on a little comeback on the hits, just to give himself a bit of an open pocket before the DB could close down on that. And the quarterback rolling out, he saw that in time as well.
So they're coming out in more of a spread look here, tight end to the right. Quarterback drops back, takes snap, looks out to the left again, setting up a jailbreak screen for number 27, Alade, and he is tackled, but not. It looks like he's got that first down just there. There seems to be a player who's a bit shaken up after that play. But nice little series there. We saw them come out a little bit nervous, but then 2 very solid plays, picking up sort of 7-8 yards on each of them to get them moving down the field there.
Yeah, good run there by Olade. Good blocking from the wide receivers there that set up the screen. It was a good play call, good enough to get the first down, to be honest. It's quite interesting, to be honest, because some of the blocking, some of the DBs were able to get off the block quite quickly, but Olade was a little bit quicker to the line, probably would have been able to break off. We're looking at a good 60, 70 yards at this point.
And so just to clarify, that was Laken Oladel on that play there. Apologies if I mispronounced it again. Go on, Kwame, you can help us with your expertise here.
Right, we've got pages and pages and pages. Lakan Oladeli.
There we go. Thank you very much. Lakan Oladeli. I apologise. We will get it right. Any teams that want to give the pronunciations as well as the names, always helpful. And we seem to be on to 1st and 10 now from the about the 38-yard line, and the Rushmoor defence is getting themselves set and prepared as well. Coming out in a spread look with a tight end to the left-hand side. Takes a snap nice and quickly, hands it off to number 3. He's met by a couple Rushmoor defenders in the hole as he's tackled down, able to get a couple of yards on that play, but nice effort there from the backers to come and fill those gaps and swallow that run before getting too much down the field.
Yeah, good north-south running from Ashley Martin, number 3 there. Able to get a couple of yards, not much open, but is able to put his head down and just force the offense to gain a few extra yards after first contact.
So they send number 88 in motion across the formation. Quarterback's dropping back, looking to his left. He looks for a window, couldn't quite get on the same page with his receivers there as the cornerback number 8, Howard Maseka, for the Rushmoor defence, able to get close to it but not quite able to pick it off. And sets up 3rd down, 3rd and 9. These 3rd downs do feel quite important for his Portsmouth team, given that they're sort of got their backs up against things in this matchup, you would expect. Quarterback drops back, looks to reverse the ball to number 85, I believe that's, and he's running up the sideline, tackled, but not able to get the 1st down, only able to get about 5 yards, going to reverse quite early, but not quite able to get the yards they need.
Yeah, not quite. I don't think the blocking was even set up, to be honest. It looked like the receiver was able to get out into a bit of space, and then just 3 defenders there able to close him down before he was able to even make a move, to be honest. Good coverage by the Rushmoor defence, and that brings up 4th and long.
And so they will be preparing to punt the ball away now as Stephen Mothorpe gets ready to kick it away. Good kick there, bending out of bounds, and gets a friendly bounce.
Positive bounce.
But the ball is downed inside Rushmoor territory, and the Rushmoor offence will come out for their first drive of the season. The Rushmoor offence has been pretty good this year, putting up over 30 points consistently. Fell a little bit last week as they only beat the Hornets 24 to 6, which was a bit of a surprise. But overall, this unit's been cooking.
Bit of a flat one from there last week. They'll definitely expect, with a high power offence they have, they'll definitely expect to put some numbers up. And they definitely would have been expecting to put big numbers up against the Hornets, but let's see what they can do now as their offense rolls out.
And so they come out with trips to the left. Portsmouth players scrambling to get themselves in the correct alignment before the snap. They look to hand the ball off to their running back, number 48, Harvey Macy, and already breaking through. Tackled by the safety, preventing it from getting all the way down the field, but very early on he was able to get through that box and threaten the back 7.
Definitely shows the potency of their offense and their run game. The inside run, that was just one run straight up the middle, gained 15 odd yards, and they're already up to midfield.
I feel like you can sense some nerves in that defense when you come out, and it's not just strength as well, and you're sort of like, oh, am I meant to be aligned here? Am I meant to be out wider? Clearly there's some alarm bells ringing already.
There's a lot of movement pre-snap.
Spread. Quarterback drops back once again, and he throws the ball out to number 81, and he's tackled for a short gain. Much better recovery there from the Portsmouth defence.
It's a big hit by number 43 there, Alexander. And you look at the offense that the Rushmoor Knights are running. They look at it, they're going to get so much confidence from just being able to get so many chunk yards off these first.
And falls incomplete as the target, 89, Stephen Godfrey, not quite able to reach out for that. And you missed a couple of plays there, and we see the Rushmoor Knights move the ball very convincingly, very quickly, putting the ball in the hands of Harvey Macy, who's been able to make quite a few big gains down the field early.
It's almost immediately Portsmouth have their backs to the wall. We're going to look at how good their red zone defense is. Their sideline is right next to us, so we better be careful what we say. But Rushmoor coming up for 2nd and goal here.
And so they come out with trips to the right. Ball's handed off to Harvey Macy again as he bounces this time outside to the left. Linebacker is able to recover as he's pushed out of bounds by number 52, making that play there. for the Dreadnoughts defence, and much better job of spilling that run out to the sideline and not allowing those lanes to open up on the inside.
Definitely, you got to keep doing your job. You got each player on that defence has an assignment. It's pretty much bread and butter. You know what you've got to do, and you've just got to worry about your own job. Not worry about other people. As soon as they start worrying about others, that's when the gaps open up and mistakes start to happen.
And so we've got a big early play here as we're looking at third and only a few yards, probably about 4 yards. As they're coming out in spread. Portsmouth showing pressure. And QB drops back, looks for a pass, and he finds number 81 over the middle for a touchdown on that little slant route from the slot. And so that is number 81, Matthew Ricard, with the touchdown there for Rushmoor as they move the ball down the field quite convincingly to open this game.
Definitely, that's a big positive for them. They're going to look at that first drive, first touchdown. Hopefully they'll put, from their Switzer, hopefully they'll put another score on, another point on just here. But it's definitely looking positive for Rushmoor. Looking a good start. Their defense has made a stop without Portsmouth really getting any first downs, and we're about to see if they can put an extra point on just here.
Worth remembering that this was very much the story of the first game of the season between the two. But then very shortly after that, as we get into the sort of midway through the third quarter, Portsmouth were going back and forth with them within a score, and it wasn't until the fourth quarter where the games really sort of opened up. And Portsmouth are going to get ready to receive the kick here as we had a touchdown and a PAT conversion. So it's now 7-0 in favour of the Rushmoor Knights over the Portsmouth Dreadnoughts. And you never want to say that there's too much importance on these early drives. You want teams to have the opportunity to figure it out. But early on, it does feel like these drives are going to be really crucial for this Portsmouth offence to make sure that the Rushmoor don't have an opportunity to run away.
Definitely. I mean, Portsmouth have got to look at it like we've got to take advantage of every little single mistake that Rushmoor have made or are making. And the drive hasn't been perfect from Rushmoor. Even the extra point, if you saw, if you look closely, there was a bit of a bubble. The holder just about managed to get it on, ready for the kicker. But little things like that, little pockets of errors that may be made by an offense, because an offense has to be perfect for everything to work. This defense just has to be good enough. So if any defensive players or as a whole unit are able to take advantage of these mistakes, they'll be able to stop them.
Number 6, Travis Carpenter, gets ready to kick the ball away. Better kick-off this time, fielded at the 13-yard line. And he's looking for a lane to the left. He was chased down, but not quite able to be tackled. Number 48, Harvey Macy, does manage to bring him down, but not after he's able to gain a good chunk of yardage, nearly into Rushmoor territory already. Being chased down to the right-hand side there by number 8, but he was able to find a lane to the left.
Yeah, they're going to mark him down at around about the 40-yard line. It looks like there was a lane that was up on the outside, on the Portsmouth left-hand side. The returner was able to actually break a few tackles, and we saw that a lot more progress was made this time because they recovered it straight out the air rather than off the bounce, So it saves a lot of time now.
Portsmouth will send a guy in motion as they get ready for this possession. Quarterback's dropping back, looking to his backside target on the left. Not quite able to find him on the little hitch to the outside. QB doesn't quite seem perfectly in sync with his receivers early on start. There's been a couple of throws that way where him and the ball and the receiver just not quite in the same area. I
think they've identified a mismatch here when you look at it, because this cornerback seems to be playing very, very soft on Oladele at the end of it.
I've coached him. He ain't a mismatch. Trust me, that man's got hops.
A physical mismatch, as per se. He's a lot physically larger than him. Aside from the ability, before the game's been played, before a snap has been played, if you haven't seen the player before, you look at it, you think big receiver, short cornerback. You think mismatch. So, there's definitely a lot of intention to get the ball out in that direction, but it just seems to be that the chemistry's not quite there.
And so, once again, they found themselves in third down early on in the drive, and they're now looking about 3rd and 13 here. They come out in the spread look, they fake the handoff to the running back, looking to the QB's left, and he throws the ball downfield, but it is picked off down the field by the safety. That looks to be number 0 making the play for Rushmoor on that big interception, and that is Demi Soyoy. And that is an early turnover for the Portsmouth offence, and once again, not quite able to connect.
I mean, it just goes back to what I said on the previous play. Again, we're looking to get that connection established between that quarterback and that same receiver again. He sees him run deep. He sees a bit of space because, as we see the cornerback playing a little bit visually playing soft, you know. It seems to me he's got the ability to close on that gap, but that was just an absolute prayer thrown up in the air. It was nowhere near the intended receiver, and it was just picked off inevitably, you know. So
Portsmouth not quite able to put things together early on, but let's see if this Rushmoor offence has got things cooking. They run a freeze play and they're able to get the jump offside. They look down the field for their receiver there, but not quite able to make the play. They will still get the 5 yards though, most likely, and we'll be looking at 1st and 5. Just feels like this Rushmoor team, they just seem a little bit more confident. They seem a little bit more put together as a team on both sides of the ball so far. This Rushmoor team, the Portsmouth team is coming into this game. They do feel like a 2-2 team going up against an undefeated team to start.
Definitely. I think when you're 5-0, the nerves, there are no nerves at the end of the day. You're never really nervous, especially when you've already beaten the team. And once you're 2-2, the nerves definitely kick in, because it's like, if you lose this game, losing record.
And so they hand off New back in the backfield there, and he's able to go and make a good chunk of yardage. Rushmoor sideline getting psyched, even for these little 6-7 yard gains. You know you've got a good thing going when the people on the sideline, they're just cheering everything on. You know, they're not just waiting for a big play, they're excited for every little good thing that's happening for your team.
Always love it when the crowd gets involved. Always love it. As a player, it gives you more confidence. You know, even if the crowd don't know the rules, just cheer, make noise. It's just absolutely amazing.
And so we're looking at 1st and 10 here. The Rushmoor Knights coming out in a spread look, and the QB's looking out wide to number 89. He gets a block from number 6, and he is down at the 40-yard line. Nice little gain of about 7 yards there on 1st down with a quick bubble screen.
It's these burst 1st down plays, you know, these big chunks that they're getting, you know, the explosive ones, the ones that get in 5 yards plus on every 1st down. That just sets the tone, you know, because now you've got 2nd and short, which is a lot easier to manage. A lot easier to run a play on 2nd and short than it is to run a play on 2nd and long, you know. So they've already established that early dominance. So the confidence is just there, and it's just completely growing. And we'll just wait to see if they get another score at this point.
And so Portsmouth defence showing a lot of pressure here and more press looks. And they look over the top for a deep ball to their receiver, Travis Carpenter, number 6 on the sideline. Ball just a couple of feet out of reach. Just to give an update on the conditions here, there is a little bit of wind going around. It's not too heavy, but there is a little bit of a breeze that does pick up. And I did see in some of the warm-ups that it was affecting some quarterbacks and receivers here and there. But it is a lovely day down here. But the field as well, worth noting, the field grass is a little bit long. It's quite a slow field. It definitely seems to be holding up receivers from getting into full stride early on.
Definitely. As I was walking here, I could feel how long the grass was. I was having to take huge marching steps.
And they hand off up the middle here as they look to convert on 3rd down. They're able to get a good chunk of yardage. Rushmoor sideline seem convinced that it's a 1st down. From our perspective, I'm not.
The referee seems to be indicating. They've put up the marker for 4th down. It's going to be 4th and 1.
And big 4th down here. It looks like you can tell when a team is sort of confident in what they're doing, because it didn't even look like they had to have a discussion whether they go for it or not. They just lined it up and they went into the huddle and they are ready to try and get the yard that they need. The Portsmouth defence is scrambling here, and it looks like they've had to call a timeout. Defence making sure that the play is finished off, but there will be a charge timeout to Portsmouth as they were not able to get themselves all ready for that 4th down there. What does that sort of... I feel like you can tell a lot about a sort of a team and how they're feeling when you sort of see possessions like that, and maybe not all players and coaches are on the same page with what they're trying to do.
I mean, either that, or is there a way to ice the quarterback like you can ice the kicker? Because it just seems to me that Portsmouth are panicking at the moment. It just seems to me that they don't have their bearings together. Their marbles are scattered everywhere, especially after that 1st drive. And it just looks to me like, you know, 2 big plays over the top that were slightly overthrown just out of the receiver's hands, and they could have been 6 points, both of them, you know. And we've identified that there are mismatches on both sides on this field, and there are plays to be made and there are scores to be had. It's just a matter of, can the offenses get those fine margins? Can they get them together? Can they put it together? And it's 4th down. Right now they only need a yard, but we'll wait and see what they do.
And so they come out and spread. They look to hand the ball off, and there is a flag on the field. I believe they're going to call it. It sounds like they're going to maybe call an offensive lineman for either a full start or for being lined up too far in the backfield before the start of the play. could also hear that maybe the Portsmouth sideline's been bargaining for that call.
Definitely hear calls from the Portsmouth sideline. They're calling for something, and it looks like the offense.
And that might be the first encroachment call I've ever heard on an offensive player.
Never heard that before. Never heard that before.
Yeah, well, you learn something new every day, Kwame, especially in Britball we do. And so now we're looking at 4th and 5. They seemed pretty convinced that they were going to go for it. I might have maybe had at least a discussion about punting it, but they're going to try and convert the ball here. And I think this, as a neutral, this is probably a good thing. Either we're going to see a 4th down conversion, or we're going to see Portsmouth get the ball in better field position as they come out to try and convert. They come out in a spread look. The Portsmouth defence once again pressuring, bringing players down to the line of scrimmage, bringing players close over to the slot receivers, and they look for that 1v1 on the backside, and they find the receiver down the sideline eventually, all the way down to the 3-yard line. That's Travis Carpenter, number 6, with the play, and this Portsmouth defence trying to bring pressure down. They're trying to press the line of scrimmage and jam things up, but it does expose a lot of space over the top.
It just sounds like, you know, anything you can do, we have your number, Portsmouth. That's what Rushmoor are saying at this moment in time. It looks to be like they only needed 1 yard, as I said earlier, but that seems to be the obvious decision. Nobody really expects a team to go for the bingo on that 4th and 1 play, but they've done it. You know, almost got a touchdown. They were brought down just before. And it looks to me they're on round about the 5-6 yard line going in. So this is a big chance to put up another score on the same drive.
As they're coming out in spread to try and convert here, as they hand the ball off to the running back. No space at all to be found on the inside. He manages to almost slip his way out. A couple of Portsmouth players come in to finish the job off, and a much better job there from that Portsmouth box, being able to jam up the gaps at the line of scrimmage and nowhere to go for the running back.
Definitely closing up the gaps, and as I saw a few fists going in, trying to get the ball out, a few claws trying to rip that ball out, and we saw at the end the ball was a little bit. I wouldn't say the ball was loose, but the running back's his ball security looks a bit interesting sometimes.
Yeah, we see a lot of people look like they're carrying a loaf of bread in the photos from Britball games across the country.
It's as they're going towards the ground, it just seems a little bit loose, and it's those.
The quarterback drops back, he's looking out to his left, and he manages to get the ball to his receiver, but number 27 for the Dreadnoughts was able to break up the play, 21 even. That was Dan Whitty coming in to make the play, and almost able to convert, but not quite there for Stephen Godfrey and Calvin Stitt, as they're looking at 3rd down here, and this Portsmouth defence has done a good job to rally on important downs. They've been able to force a 4th down already in this drive. Let's see if they're able to keep this Rushmoor offence out of the end zone, because there's a big difference, I think, in a 7-point game at this point compared to a 14-point game. As the quarterback looks out to his left, looking for a slot receiver over the middle, and he manages to bring the ball in. That's number 89, Stephen Godfrey, with the catch. Didn't quite come up with it the first time round in the back left corner of the end zone, but he's able to find it over the middle, and that's twice in the red zone. They've gone to their big slot targets over the middle, and no safeties are just not able to handle them 1v1.
What a pass that was from Calvin Stitt. He's absolutely zipped that across the middle. That was like a dart straight into the hands of the receiver there, and just no chance for the defensive back to make a play on that. There was just no time for him.
Incredible concentration to be able to just shake him off as he was coming in to make the play. As the ball is snap is good, ball is down, and
extra point good. Very
convincingly whistled as good by the official there. Put a little bit of extra gusto into the PAT. Good signal, as we now have a 14-0 game here in the first quarter.
I think the referee emptied out his lungs there.
And this has suddenly become. This is a game that could run away from us very quickly if Portsmouth aren't able to recover. What have you seen from their offence so far that they could potentially capitalise? What things could they improve on to maybe get a bit further down the field on this drive?
I would say a few things, to be honest, on this drive. They've got to look at being more aggressive, and they've got to look at hitting the gaps as soon as possible. We saw this second return to begin with, actually, with the returns. They had a good setup on the second run. They got the ball quicker. Obviously, the kick was much better, and that helped with them, helped with their timing as well. But of course, the blocks have to be maintained. They've got to maintain those blocks because these Rushmoor guys were coming off them easily, and it was 2 missed tackles, 2 broken tackles before number 34 was brought down. So he's got that. The football stuck in the tree. As I was saying. The offense just has to establish the aggression at the line of scrimmage. Just work on these blocks, and we've seen a bit of a squib kick here.
But it will be recovered, and so Portsmouth will have the ball just outside of their outside of the Rushmoor half there, and Kwame now has another 20 seconds to finish this point.
Whatever it was, it's gone. That train has taken off. It's left the train station.
Damn kickoff happening so quickly, interrupting your musings. How rude. But anyway, we're back to normal football. As not that special teams isn't. We've got a lot of special teams over here. But we come out in spread. Tight end out to the left. Quarterback hands the ball off to number 37. He's able to break a couple of tackles, and he's churning up the field. But eventually, the maul will be stopped. Looks like he's either got a first down or is very, very, very close to it. Much stronger run there to open up the drive for the Dreadnoughts there.
Goodness me, I'm getting an umbrella in my eyes. Well, if you look at it, to be honest, this was a much better play. This is probably Portsmouth's most positive play of the afternoon so far. Very close to a first down, and that was their best starting field position today as well. So another good opportunity for Portsmouth to get some points on.
As the quarterback, Jaden Ellis, looks down the sideline, and we'll wait for the official to decide. And it is picked off by
Did he pick that off?
It is picked off. It's number 8, Howard Maseka. And as I said, you might have thought it looked like a mismatch. That boy got hops.
I have no idea. I could not see from here. The view's covered by Portsmouth bodies on the sideline, but I have no idea how he managed to get up there, because it looked like he was dead and beat. It didn't even look like he was near the ball, and all of a sudden, was it tipped? I could not see.
You don't need to see it to believe it. It happened. Unfortunately, we weren't able to quite capture it, I think, as the sideline got in the way. But we can tell you that was picked off there, and Rushmoor having the ball on about their 15-yard line, or so it looks like, and coming out for, it could feel like they could sort of take the game away quite early here if they're able to march the ball all the way down the field. Currently up 14-0. Looked very convincing on both sides of the ball to open this game up, as they will hand the ball off to number 48, Harvey Macy. He's breaking through, looking for a lane on the left-hand side. He's already managed to get down he's managed to find about 15 yards or so there. Straight away, they come back on the field, and immediately they start taking yardage from the Portsmouth team.
Now we look at it from the Portsmouth perspective, and it's like they only needed a yard for the first down. So now you must be kicking yourself that you've gone for goal, had it picked off, and now Rushmoor, in a few plays, have just come straight back down the field and are almost where you started.
How does it feel when you get in those situations as a defence where you've tried your best, you haven't been able to quite find your feet against a competitive team, but then your offence isn't helping you in that situation either?
It really does beat you down. I've been on both sides of it.
As the quarterback looks out to the left for his target, Stephen Godfrey, he is tackled quite a few about 7 yards down the field, so it will be looking at about 2nd and 3 there, and they just seem to be able to find these small little chunks across the field, whether that's working in the run game in the inside, whether that's getting out to the outside. They just can find whatever they want from this Portsmouth defence.
Definitely. Portsmouth seem to be leaving a few gaps here and there, especially a few lanes in the run game, a few receivers left slightly uncovered or not covered tightly enough, as we see a jump here.
Quarterback looks out to the left side once again for his target, number 6, and he has got the catch. He is going to be downed at the 20-yard line, and this Portsmouth defence just does not seem to be able to adjust to what Rushmoor are doing to take away anything that they want, really, whether that's going over the middle, whether that's attacking them deep. They just haven't got any of the answers.
I think aside from the variety that Rushmoor are showing in their playbook so far, in their variants and plays and different plays that they've run, they've found a weakness. They've found a mismatch here that they can exploit over and over and over again. Right? When you have a clear speed mismatch, there is very little you can do to counteract that. Once you have that player capped over the top, they can just keep exploiting that over and over and over again. And they've done that so far on this far side a couple of times now, and it was just it was actually just pushed out of bounds around about the 20-yard line. I think he just about stepped out of bounds, but if it wasn't for that, if he was a bit tighter inside, you know, he could have been gone to the house. He could have been off to the races.
So what adjustments would you be looking to make? We've seen that the Portsmouth defence has come out and they've brought their defenders quite tight to the line of scrimmage. They've brought them quite tight to both the slots and the outside receivers. What adjustments would you look to make?
If I'm Portsmouth, I'm looking at potentially switching my corners around, potentially switching somebody into that position, someone who's got a bit more speed, who can handle that receiver a bit more, because it just seemed to me that they were just getting completely toasted left, right and centre.
And so the Rushmoor offence coming out now, coming out in a spread look, running back to the QB's right. And they do hand the ball off. He looks outside to the left, manages to get around the edge, and he's brought down about 7 yards down the field. So we're looking at 2nd and 3 in the Portsmouth red zone. And they don't necessarily seem to get a lot of blockers on that outside zone run, but they are able to seal the edge, and Portsmouth just not able to flow over the top and rally to make the tackles before they're able to get out down the field.
Seems to me like Rushmoor have some very strong blockers, and Portsmouth need to do a bit more work getting off those blocks, just to be a bit more, maybe a bit more physical, maybe do some work not getting blocked in the first place, because it seems to me that once these guys, you know, once they've got the angles, once they've got the blocks, everything's set up, and Portsmouth are just left watching at this point. You know, a lot of guys just cannot seem to get near their guy, just can't seem to get near the ball at the moment. But we'll see at this moment in time, 2nd and short, there's always an opportunity. Every player is different, it's short-term memory. So.
And so Calvin Stick keeps the ball this time on the read option. A couple of tacklers do fly down to make the tackle, but not before he can get the first down. Are able to limit the overall gain, not quite letting him get to the end zone, but once again allowing a first down. And now we'll be looking at 1st and goal from the 9-yard line.
Yeah, it seems to me a little bit of confusion again in the Portsmouth defence together, and we'll see if they can put something of a stop together here.
And so they're coming out once again in spread. This time the running back to the left of the quarterback. Safeties once again very wide for Portsmouth over the slot receivers. Quarterback looks out to his left for his target. It's broken up this time by the Portsmouth defence. And that'll be number 34 breaking up the play. Richard Blackwell seems to have got involved on a couple of the plays for Portsmouth so far. And we saw them twice. They've gone over the middle in these situations down in the red zone, especially sort of as they get closer towards the goal line. But this time they're able to break up the play, coming down and making a big hit over the middle. And so Rushmoor will come out in trips to the right, running back to the quarterback's right as well. Sorry, trips to the left. Once again tries a freeze, but it doesn't work. Hands the ball off to Harvey through the middle. He's brought down about 4 yards. And so it'll be 3rd and goal from the 5-yard line now. Big play coming up for Portsmouth here.
Big play here. This could make or break potentially the game in terms of how you're looking at it. You know, you're already 2 scores up, first quarter. They want to make a stop here and be able to show that they can drive the ball down the field. We've seen them make a positive run. You know, it's just some of their decision making and some of the plays that they made earlier haven't gone their way. But what way to start with a big defensive stop here?
And we saw the quarterback give a hand signal to his single receiver, but he doesn't throw it his way. Running back is able to take the ball very close to the goal line, but not quite able to sniff the end zone, as it will be 4th and maybe a yard, maybe 2.
Down at about the 2-yard line, 4th and goal from the 2, maybe 3-yard line potentially. Now this will be a big one. Are they going to go for it? It seems to me that they're going to go for it. I haven't seen a kicker come out onto the field, so they're going to gamble to see if they can get these few yards, and probably gamble on their defense, maybe stopping Portsmouth if they don't.
And so Rushmoor come out in spreads this time. Looking to the right-hand side, looking for his receiver over the middle, and he gets it again. Number 81 with the big catch over the middle. That is Matthew Ricard. He looks to be injured after the play, but 3 times they've gone over the middle. Well, they've gone over 4 times. 1 time they managed to break it up a little bit earlier, but those plays over the middle to their slot receivers just seem to be wide open whenever they want it in this deep red zone.
Again, it's the coverage. The coverage is too soft, and that's the spirit, Ricard. Make the touchdown now, worry about your health later. You know, and he's going to be okay. He's back up to his feet now. So 3 scores at this point, at this moment in time, it just seems to me like, very simple plays. Almost a carbon copy of the first touchdown, I believe. It was another slant over the middle. And the second one, I believe, may have been the same, but from the other side. So it just seems to me like, when they need these short yards, they have these go-to plays that they can run, and they know that they can guarantee they can get these yards, and they know that Portsmouth just haven't been able to stop them. And until the team can stop that play, you're just going to keep running it.
And the kicker looks, and he's been picked
Okay.
off by number 52 as he's running down the sideline. He's got
There goes the
just
big man.
a couple of people to beat, but he is brought down. So the PAT is no good after a muffed snap and hold means the desperate sort of pass into the end zone, getting picked off. So no points there. So Rushmoor are now up 20-0 on Portsmouth. We're still here in the first quarter, and so let's talk about this Portsmouth defence a little bit more, because it seems like they're having some real structural issues with this Rushmoor offence, as they've only got 4 people outside the box. They've got the 2 safeties, they've got the 2 corners playing outside, but then they've got 7 defenders in the box, but they're still not able to stop the run. They're still not quite able to take away the pass either. So what adjustments would you be looking to make? We talked about maybe flipping the corners if the matchups themselves are presenting some issues. Could you maybe move some pieces around the board to try and take away different space for this Rushmoor offence to attack?
I think it's just a matter of these guys doing their jobs and waking up and being more physical, because at the end of the day, I mean, there's only so much you can really move around before you start completely changing the defence. You don't want to change the defensive playbook too much. You don't want to stray away from what you know and what you're comfortable with. Otherwise you start getting into unfamiliar territory and start making even more mistakes and opening up the game even more. So it really is a case of just doing your job, worrying about what you can do. So we see another
and it's kicked straight at number 54, who manages to absorb the catch. It felt like absorbing it, given the speed that it was kicked straight at him with. And a very heads-up play there on special teams means that Portsmouth will get the ball in very good territory for them, which, after a drive like that, given where they are in the game, down quite a few scores, pretty big play for them to only have about half the field to go down to start to put some pressure on Rushmoor.
I seem to have noticed the trend. A little trend is appearing, right? Now, Rushmoor have kicked off 4 times now to Portsmouth, and each time Portsmouth have come back with slightly better field position each time. So it's a matter of time. We'll wait and see if they're able to do something here. They've shown they've got the running ability. Now they've got a good few yards here. Can they run? Can they rely on this run game to get them going, to get them to move the chains? Because they've shown it last time. They ran the ball, got 9 yards, threw the ball, threw a pick. So only time will tell. We'll wait and see what they do this time, because they've got a good 6 yards out of that run, and that brings up 2nd and 4.
So they opened up with a nice little 6-yard gain from Samir Hassan as they come out and hand the ball off to him again, looking for a lane up the middle. He's able to find one, and he'll get a first down there. So from what we've seen in this Rushmoor team in the past, they do have some big pieces on their defence, but they're not always consistent being able to come and fill those gaps. Do you think, from what you've seen so far, what do you make of this Rushmoor defence? Do you think that they have been the ones that have been taking the game? Do you think they've been sort of asserting themselves in this Portsmouth offence, or would you say that so far it feels like the Portsmouth offence has sort of been giving it to the Rushmoor defence a little bit?
I would say a little bit of both, a bit of tit for tat, because we've seen that the Portsmouth offence are able to now start establishing a run as they weren't able to at the start. But we've also seen how, potentially surprising if you don't know them, but how dominant the Rushmoor defensive backs have been, because everything has been broken up, everything's been stopped. There have been a few passes underneath, a few things in the flats, but nothing has really taken the top off Rushmoor. And I don't think they've seen anything that they'll be really alarmed about, to be honest. Other than potentially some of the inside runs that we've seen Portsmouth put together recently, but that could just be a case of them warming into a game. So Rushmoor right now, being 3 scores up, don't really seem to have anything to worry about.
And so the quarterback, once again, handing the ball off to Samir Hassan there. He manages to get into the middle, but not able to find much yardage there as he's brought down. Looks to be for no gain, and we will be doing 2nd and 10. From my eye, I think maybe watch out for the screen game. Maybe that's where Portsmouth might be able to find an edge. We saw them throw a screen before. We saw them try to set up that play quite a few times in the first fixture against Rushmoor, and that seems to cause them some problems when you get the big on small matchups on the outskirts. They're just not quite able to put enough plays together on first and second down to keep themselves away from these sort of more pressure-filled situations like your third and longs and your fourth and mediums.
They just seem to be running into a brick wall. There just seems to be not enough opportunity for them to penetrate the defence here.
And so look for their backside target, number 85, and he's hit after he bobbles the ball by the linebacker, number 54. Once again, Samir Hassan trucking his way down the field with a nice little opening play of the series, getting about 6 yards. It does feel like they've figured some things out in terms of the run game, being able to pick up those chunks on early downs. And we'll see how that continues to translate. If that does mean that maybe they're going to have a rushing offense that they can sort of attack with.
It's almost identical so far.
And they hand the ball off to him again. He's able to find some daylight out towards the right-hand side. Players coming to make tackles. But once again, it looks like he's able to get the first down. And it feels like this run game, little by little, it is really finding a way to open up.
There's a big first down there, and that brings them down to the 40-yard line. That one there is probably the first time we've seen them make 2 big plays on the same drive. That is the first time, and that for them is a big play. We'll see if they run the same play again or if Rushmoor are aware of it. But
so quarterback once again handing off to Samir there, and he's not quite able to pick up the same yardage. Looks like his legs are getting a bit heavy after those consecutive carries, added on to obviously the carries he was getting earlier on. And so now they're looking at second and long, as looks like the run gained about 2, and so we'll see if they're able to move the ball here.
We've seen 37 come out of the game to be relieved for a while, and they're going to bring number 3, and he throws a little screen, and that is going to be knocked out of the hands of number 8.